two errors that we see in our culture when it comes to masculinity. And I want to identify these errors so you can see which one you proclivitate towards, okay? Because some of you are going to be on this side of the fence, some of you will be over here. Some of you can do both at the same time if you're a sophisticated sinner like I am. Here's some errors that we see in expressions of masculinity. That error is chauvinism, okay? That's the error over here. And there are different ways that chauvinism expresses itself. The first way is the dude. This guy is the one who's like, if it's feminine, I don't like it. If girls talk about their feelings, I'm not going to talk about my feelings. And they define their masculinity in contrast to anything feminine. The second expression of chauvinism is the jock. Everything is a scoreboard for him, and he measures his masculinity in relationship to that card. Then there's the jerk. This guy is just mean and harsh and bitter, and he's only winning if he's beating someone or putting someone down. The last expression of chauvinism is the boss. This guy has an opinion about everything, has to be in charge, is not happy unless he gets the final say everywhere he goes. Now, the other error of masculinity is cowardice. These are the mice men, okay? 4 different versions of this guy. One's the nice guy. Oh, he's so nice. What a sweetie pie. Well, he's really nice. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Then we have the empty suit guy, okay? This guy he's there physically, but he's absent emotionally. And many of you have this dad. God's calling on your life is so much higher than just showing up. Then there's the goofball. This guy you can't take anything seriously. Just everything's a joke, whether he's deflecting attention from himself or trying to be popular with the girls or whatever. Then there's the hobby guy, okay? This guy just drives me nuts. This guy spends all of his time, all of his money, all of his mental energy burning it on a hobby. But here's the thing. Grow up, guys. Just don't do your hobbies at the expense of your responsibilities. So that's the two masculine errors we often see in our culture. The chauvinistic, just loud, brash. Everything gets measured by how big and how far and how loud. And there's the cowardice, just like, milquetoast rolling over. Oh, who cares? No opinions, no backbone, no nothing. Just rolling through life, taking responsibility for nobody, including himself. Both of those are horrific errors in the church and in our culture, and it's killing us. You look to Jesus as your source of power. You look to Jesus as your example of godliness. You look to Jesus as your strength in weakness. If we identify and paint out the picture of masculinity apart from Jesus, it will be perverted. Jesus is the proverbial picture of true biblical masculinity. God in flesh, he came as one who was both tough and tender without being a chauvinist or a coward. He was tough when he should be tough. He was tender when he should be tender. He was articulate. He was kind. He was thoughtful. And at the end of the day, what most fundamentally marked his masculinity was that he took responsibility. The mark of biblical masculinity is that you take responsibility for your own spiritual growth. You take responsibility for the health and flourishing of your wife. You take responsibility for the health and flourishing of your home. You take responsibility to organize and provide the finances of your home. You take responsibility to ensure that your church is healthy and growing and unified. You take responsibility one day for your community that you live in. You take responsibility to step into the role that God's called you to be as head. That's what it means to be a man. And when men shuck their responsibility personally and shuck their responsibility maritally and shuck their responsibility with their kids and shuck their responsibility for the church and shuck their responsibility for the community, guess what? Everyone pays for it. Hashtag Me Too movement. Where'd that come from? Dirtbags not carrying their responsibility and stepping into their calling to be a godly, honorable man that protects and cherishes women as the gift of God that they are. That's what it means to be a man. You keep loving. You keep pursuing. You take responsibility for that which is yours and that which is not yours. That's the essence of biblical masculinity.